Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing, well, Big Joke again. And it seems he's come back to the forefront in the news here recently. And, you know, people have asked me why I kind of keep track of it. Well, he started off in immigration, and then really there were just interesting stories that came up about him. But almost every one of these stories that comes up, it almost always, with a few exceptions, but almost always has an immigration angle to it, as does this one, the reason for this video today. The article is from the Bangkok Post. It's bangkokpost.com. It's titled, 5 People, Including Senior Cop, Charged for Swindling Detained Brit. Quoting directly, 5 people have been charged in connection with swindling 6 million baht out of a British man in exchange for freeing him from detention, according to police. He was also using his alleged connection with Police Lieutenant General Surachat Hakpan, the Assistant National Police Chief. The name of Britain was withheld by police. Quoting further, Police Lieutenant General Surachat told reporters on Tuesday that a woman named Tirawan, I won't even go through names here, said a bail request for the Briton, who was her friend and whose name was withheld by police, had been rejected. Interpol had issued a red notice for him, and he was detained by the Immigration Bureau in Bangkok. She then sought help from another person after the bail request was turned down. This person told her that he was acquainted with a man by another name who could get in touch with a police colonel who was a former classmate of Police Lieutenant General Surachat in the Royal Police Cadet Academy. Police Lieutenant General Surachat said investigators confirmed that the police colonel had indeed spoken to the duty officer on June 29th. The Assistant National Police Chief added that during the phone conversation, the police colonel mentioned his name to the officer in an apparent bid to gain detention access. So apparently some background here, and I urge folks who are watching this video, go check out that article in the Bangkok Post, again, bangkokpost.com. But basically it seems there was somebody, they were arrested, they were detained, there was an Interpol red notice put out on them, but another person, some acquaintance of this person who was detained, was trying to get them out of jail on bail, which I can tell you that's a difficult thing. I mean, expediting a deportation, and what I'm talking about there is getting somebody deported more quickly so they can spend less time in the detention center. That oftentimes may be possible. Bail while in immigration detention, it's not unheard of, but it's a pretty rare thing, and it's pretty darn difficult. Meanwhile, it seems that this thing was some kind of scam, and Big Joke, who mentions it, is quoted in the article further as saying, these people were charged criminally, or they will be. Basically it was one of these deals where it's like, I know somebody who knows somebody, and then Big Joke's name came up, and probably because he's known as having been in the head of the immigration chief, or the immigration police before, and now he's basically the Assistant National Police Chief. I guess it just kind of came up. I have to say, I kind of, for lack of a better term, I kind of feel bad for Big Joke that his name keeps coming up in these kind of rather high-profile, weird cases that really, it doesn't look to me like he did anything wrong. It was somebody just used his name to try and coax some money out of somebody else, and he seemed to be operating quite by the book when, and on top of it, it wasn't even really his call because, there was this Interpol red notice, and that meant that there was not going to be any bail associated with this detention. So it's just, we've kind of followed sort of his situation as it's kind of the ups and downs as things have moved on with him, at least as far as it goes in the press. In this particular situation, as well as many others that have come up in the past, it just kind of seems like he's sort of involved in something where there's kind of a profile, to it. There's heavy media coverage, but it doesn't look to me like he did anything wrong. And if anything, the case is now moving toward prosecution because it looked like, the folks here were not really trying to secure somebody's release. It was more kind of a scam kind of thing. So interesting. Again, urge folks who are watching this video, go check out that article in detail. We'll keep you updated on this channel as situations like this evolve.